Good morning. Welcome to the Community Redevelopment Agency meeting. Today's date is Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. This meeting will now come to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please call the roll.
Yes. Chair Stuckey.
Here.
Commissioner Carr.
Here.
Cosden. Here. Gunter.
Here.
Hayden.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Shepherd.
Here.
And Welch.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Item number 4 is adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented unless someone would like to amend the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Item number 5, approval of the minutes. Copy of the draft of the regular meeting of the minutes from the March 13th, 2024 were included in your meeting packets. Could I have a motion to approve the March 13th, 2024 meeting minutes as presented?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6, citizens input time for input on matters concerning the City of Cape Coral Community Redevelopment Agency. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 7, business. We currently have nothing listed under item number 7. Item number 8 is our consent agenda. Does any commissioner have any item that they'd like removed for discussion? Seeing none, could we have a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll? Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 9 is unfinished business. We have none listed. Item number 10, new business. I'll turn it over to staff for item A, Country Club Boulevard Median Landscaping Project.
How do you present?
Full screen. Menu. Menu up at the top. View. And full screen.
All right, good morning, all. Name is Omar Leon. I'm the city arborist. Today we have in front of you a presentation from our consultant who is working on the landscape design phase of the Country Club Boulevard project within the CRA. Today's presentation is a brief summary of what the findings have been thus far in their project, as well as providing the board with some conceptuals of what the anticipated landscape design will be for the project. With that, I'll turn it over to our consultant from Kimley Horn and Associates, Kelsey Shai.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelsey Shai. I'm a landscape architect with Kimley Horn, and I'm excited to share what we've come up with for the Country Club Boulevard median landscape thus far. So today I'll talk about our project limits and the constraints that we've observed on site, talk about some of the landscape that's going to be removed from the medians, the species that we're proposing and our concept plan. Then we'll go over the project schedule, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or hear comments that you all have. So our project limits, I'm sure you're all familiar with Country Club Boulevard just south of here. Our limits are from Wildwood Parkway to the north, going along Country Club Boulevard, and then as you turn along Palm Tree Boulevard, there's 4 medians on the southern end as you approach Cape Coral Parkway that are part of a separate project where the medians are going to be curbed. So those 4 medians will, once they're curbed, will be providing landscape there. As we are designing the medians, we're following the median guide and the Adopt a Median program that was adopted in 2021. This Country Club and Palm Tree Boulevard both fall within the mixed zone as far as species go, and then are designated as a medium intensity median. We conducted a site visit in March and observed several existing utilities that we'll have to plant around and maintain access to. There are several overhead power lines that we'll have to make sure we're following FPL guidelines with how close we're planting trees and what kinds. And then we're also following FDOT's Florida Green Book standards to maintain site triangles for safety. And then while we were conducting our site visit, we also observed several burrowing owls. So we observed 7 nests out there in March. And this is one thing that we'd like your input on. We're suggesting that we relocate the owls prior to the landscape implementation. And so in order to relocate the owls, we're able to apply for a permit through FWC and take out the nests during, if they're inactive outside of the nesting season, which is February 15th to July 10th. And then if we decide not to relocate the owls, we'll just have to maintain a buffer around them. It'll be 10 feet, so we just won't do any planting or landscape within that 10-foot radius around the nest. So during our site visit, we identified all the landscape to be removed. So there's just a few areas where there's existing understory that we're proposing to take out. And then we had our arborists go out and do an inventory of all the trees within the medians. And we're recommending that 39 be removed, and we will replant different trees in their place. And this is due to some being invasive, dead, or in declining health. And so it's 11 invasive trees, 6 other trees, and then 22 palms, most of which are sables. So now I'll talk about the proposed landscape and our concept plan so far. So all of these species are coming from the median guide that was adopted in 2021. And then all of our species are also either native or Florida friendly. So from a trees perspective, we have the shady lady black olive, the bridal veil tree, cabbage palm, orange Geiger tree, Jamaican caper, and then pink trumpet tree. And then from a shrubs perspective, we have white plumbago, cocoa plum, kunti, croton, dwarf Fakahatchee grass, emerald blanket, natal plum, blue days, lily turf, beach sunflower, and pink society garlic. And all of these trees and shrubs, again, are coming from that list that was provided in the median guide. And so I have a couple of slides that just show examples of what the concept plan could look like in certain areas using those species that I just went over. So here the gray kind of shaded areas are those site triangles that we're talking about. And we can plant within the site triangles. We just want to make sure that, views below and above the driver's sight line are I guess the driver's sight line would be maintained clear. So in this next slide, you can see on the left-hand side of the page, this median is an example of one that would be completely covered in site triangles. And I'll say that everything that we're proposing will be according to those FDOT standards, but any existing trees that are already out there and are in good health, we're proposing to maintain. And so on the left, you can see an example where we're still able to plant even though the entire median is within the site triangles. And then on the right side of the page, you can see where we don't have any site obstructions, we're planting a little bit heavier. And then these next couple slides are just a couple more examples of the concept plan implemented. So from a schedule perspective, we're looking forward to getting any feedback from you all today, and then taking that and finalizing our concept plans this month. And then between now and July, we'll be developing 60% design development documents and taking that out to the public for a public informational meeting. And then after we get feedback from the public, we'll be finalizing our construction documents between July and September, and then handing it over to the city for bidding and construction, which should occur in late 2024. So thank you. I'll take any questions and comments you all have.
Any questions or discussion among commissioners? Commissioner Carr?
Just a quick question. I know moving forward, we're hoping to have this single lane on each side, north and southbound, Wildwood south to, basically the entire area that you're discussing. But would the site triangles be changed and impacted by that in the future, where it could affect our ability now to, to do the landscaping differently? Or, I mean, was that considered as part of the sightline assessment?
Hello. So that project right now is a separate project. I have to talk to the engineers to see how that would impact sightline visibility triangles. If anything, I'll probably just improve our ability to plant more, so we can always adjust that through refurbishment plantings further on along the development of the project.
Yeah, adding would be great. I'm just trying to say, make sure we don't have to remove anything due to the change in site angles or site triangles. So,
I would have to go over it with the engineers. I don't think that would be the case, but I would have to go over it with the engineers.
just something to think about.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Commissioner Welsh?
Yeah. Originally, when we were talking about this median, I was assuming that we were taking Palm Tree all the way to Country Club, not taking Palm Tree and Country Club around to Wildwood. So was I misunderstood originally, or was this always the portion of the road that we were talking about? Or, because I was thinking we were going to be on the left side of the golf course. You understand what I'm saying? Palm Tree completely through. So when was this change, and was I just confused from the beginning?
Maybe a little bit of confusion.
Okay.
This project was actually funded prior to the one we funded last year, which is the counterpart to this project. So last year, in the 24 budget, we funded the Palm Tree link. This project was actually funded the year previous.
So they're both going to be done eventually. This just happens to be coming first.
Both.
Okay.
Yep. So, but the Palm Tree one, the one we funded last year, is obviously a year lag, but they're both moving forward.
All right. Yeah, and then my other question was what Commissioner Carr asked was, if we go forth with the multimodal plan and putting in a bike lane there, going to one lane, is that affected? And you already answered that question, so thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gunter?
Thank you. Just real quickly, I noticed that the only palm that we outlined in this presentation was the cabbage palm. Any particular reason why that was the only style palm tree? We didn't look at foxtails or royals or anything like that?
Yeah, so we do have a limited palette based on the median guide. I don't know off the top of my head all the species available, but we did choose sables mostly because there's already a lot of healthy sables out there, and so we're kind of trying to use what's out there to continue the pattern along the rest of the median.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I can chime in. I don't see any other lights. First, I'd just like to mention that it's awesome that in the CRA, where most all the benefits that we see coming forward are for business owners and the core of the downtown area. This certainly is more resident beneficial, and so for the CRA to bring more beauty to the residents as they travel along that relatively major artery, I think is awesome to be done in the CRA. One question that I had related to the owls, and that is there a plus minus on moving them or not? I know there's certainly costs involved in getting the permits and doing the moving. And do we know, how many boroughs we're dealing with, and if it's only a 10-foot radius that we have to deal with, would the juice be worth the squeeze to actually move them, or would it be better to move around them? Is there an inclination to go one way or the other?
So right now, from the assessment that we took, there's 7 boroughs out in the medians within the project's boundaries. What we were discussing internally is, we can approach this 2 different ways. One approach would be to start incorporating the landscape, around the boroughs, so that you wouldn't have to go through the removal process. You just incorporate it and kind of live with the boroughs in the landscaping. But the other approach would be to relocate the boroughs. My understanding is that as far as location of boroughs go in general, so when you have a borough in a park versus a borough in front of someone's homes, the borough in the median might not be the ideal location for that activity. And my understanding is that as the young are born, they tend to fly out into the lanes of traffic, and that could be, potentially dangerous to them. So that's something to take into account.
Okay. All right, thank you. Commissioner Shepard.
Yeah, will all these medians be getting curbing?
These meetings will all be curbed. The ones on Country Club are already curbed, and the ones on Palm Tree will be curbed.
Commissioner Long?
Just was a general comment for the burrowing owls. Didn't we have a couple owls on Rose Garden when we just did that median project, and we relocated those?
Correct, yes, we relocated
Was there
those.
any particular issues with those, or any comment that you would have as far as that process that maybe could lend guidance for us on this one?
We relocated them. We were able to obtain the vision of the landscape, continuing throughout the meeting itself, and there wasn't any negative inclination for it.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all I needed.
I don't see any other lights. Mr. Executive Director, is this only for the purpose of an update, or do you need action from this body?
Yeah, it was just an update on the templates and the design. It has a mixed-use template overlay, so it was just a question to make sure everybody was good, kind of understand where we're at. This was funded, to be moving forward, so the money's there. It's just a matter of completing the project at this point if there's no concerns.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Seeing no lights, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll move on, and I apologize. There was a switch somehow between A and B on my agenda. And so we will move to the discussion on the CRA proposed budget.
All right, good morning. My name is Nicole Reitler. I'm the budget administrator for the city. Today I'm going to be walking you through the fiscal year 2025 through 2027 CRA budget. We're going to walk through all of the numbers, walk through your existing projects, as well as walk through your future projects that have been proposed. So as you can see with our fiscal 2025 budget, the expenditures are $6,199,515. Each year, our proposed budget includes a 4% increase for your tax increment revenue year over year. As well as we have evaluated all of the expenditures, we've identified what's needed moving forward, and currently you have a structurally balanced budget for 2025 through 2027. Within your proposed budget, your personnel expenditures total $388,848. Personnel includes 5 positions. You have a CRA specialist, a laborer, a code compliance officer, your field tech, and a trade specialist. All costs related to these positions have been built into the budget for 25 through 27. Next, moving on to your operating, your total expenditures are $1.565 million. Some key highlights are you have CRA donations for $60,000. You have $545,000 set aside for economic development incentives, as well as we have put aside $200,000 to support the multimodal plan moving forward for the South Cape parking plan. Within transfers out, the total is $4.245 million. That includes a loan from the general fund, your 47th Terrace Streetscape, as well as land acquisition. Overall, you have a net of around $62,000 after revenues and expenditures are totaled, and we have applied that $62,000 to a future project moving forward. Moving on to your existing capital projects. Currently, your Club Square water line has $126,000. This has been allocated and encumbered, and as of the last update, they're waiting on results of the permit review. Your CRA Country Club medians, those are currently in design, as you just heard. Final construction documents are anticipated with completion in September and bidding to follow. Your landscape beautification, city staff is currently working on a plan for those funds. For your palm tree medians, they're currently working on staff cost proposals. Property acquisition, your CRA executive director and Dawn from the departments are working together on those to move forward. Big John's, this project has been transitioned over to the new project manager, and they're currently working on that project and evaluating. For Vincennes Boulevard, they're currently working on an amendment to scope for irrigation design and electrical redesign for EV charging stations. And your Miramar sidewalks, the project is in the final stages. They're working on some utility adjustments in the final sections of the sidewalk. Overall, we have all the total costs, and it has come in under budget. We have $178,000 still available at the end of the project that we are going to apply forward to a project in fiscal year 2025. With that, it brings us into your 2025 proposed project. With the net expenditures of $62,000 as well as the additional funding left available from the Miramar sidewalks, we are proposing a South Cape retrofit to type F curbing for $241,000. That will go into a new project for fiscal year 25 and utilize all unspent funds. With that, I open it up for any questions or discussion.
Commissioner Gunter.
Thank you. On the existing capital projects that are budgeted, two of the projects, the CRA South parking lot at Big John's, where there's $1.5 million that's been allocated, and the CRA Vincennes Boulevard parking lot, a little over $1 million. And, it looks like somewhere in the neighborhood of about $421,000 has already been spent at that particular project. Now, the Vincennes Boulevard parking lot, that's the new parking lot right near the circle, if I'm not mistaken, that we purchased the property, and we're going to pave that and add some additional parking spaces there. The monies that is reflected here of the $421,000, does that cover the complete cost of the project, and that $608 is left over, or do we have some other encumbrances that we haven't gotten to yet?
That's design and permitting. We still
Okay.
have construction costs.
Okay. And how about Big John's parking lot where we had the $1.5 million? Can you refresh my memory on what has been planned for that particular parking lot?
That's a resurfacing, restriping, and re-signage.
Okay. And that will be done this fiscal year?
We just brought on the project manager, and the project manager has been, getting a hold of all the projects, where they're at and what needs to be done. I haven't had a chance to speak to him to see where it is on the priority of everything else that's moving on the list. But I'll get that to you and make sure we send it out to the commission.
Because my understanding at the end of the year, we can't have a carryover, correct? When it comes to the budget.
These are dedicated for capital projects, so you're allowed to put them for the capital project.
So as long as it's a dedicated capital project, they can roll over into the next fiscal year, knowing that we're going to spend the monies from this particular budgeted year.
Yeah, country club median, the one we just reviewed is an
Okay.
example of that.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
I don't see any other lights on. Just a comment as we think about the money looking to be invested there in Vincennes and Miramar. I know that we have recently added a dedicated code compliance person to that area. Over the years, that area has become looking a little rough as far as the maintenance of the areas around the existing sidewalks, the parking lots, the street. Is that a focus of the new code compliance person in that area, is to get the area where we'll be investing these dollars back to looking the way we want it to look?
Yeah, so the focus of the code officer will be the entire CRA, going up and down the alleyways, going up and down the streets, basically bringing that area back to, where it needs to be. So, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from this body? All right. Thank you for the update. We'll move on to item number C, CRA Special Event Sponsorship Application.
Good morning, CRA Board. Todd King, Special Events Coordinator, City of Cape Coral Parks and Recreation. Red, White, and Boom is our largest single-day event that we do in our city. Engages every single department from Public Works to Police, Fire, as well as the Special Events Division and Parks and Recreation. It is very well attended and is a signature event for our community. And today we're here presenting to seek a sponsorship for that event from the CRA, as it falls inside that CRA window, and we're looking for that support.
I know we all had the application in our backup material. Are there any questions or comments for Todd? If not, could we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Carr,
Aye.
Costin.
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Long. Shepherd. Hanky,
Aye.
Welsh.
Aye.
8 ayes.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 11, reports from the staff. We have CRA project report.
Morning, Chair Steinke. Maureen Bice, Assistant to the City Manager. Your packet includes an update on all of the CRA projects that have been approved by the board. You'll see a slide in your backup for each project and where staff is at with those projects. If there's any questions, we can entertain those now. Commissioners can always contact us if they have questions. If you'd like to go over any of those projects, we have staff available today to talk about those.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions, comments, or discussion?
I got one.
Commissioner Long.
Thank you, Chair. Just an inquiry with the COVID 47th. I know I've spoken to the city manager about this, but just wanted to make sure that we're still following forward with the COVID 47th parking garage. I guess it's noted in here that we're working with the developer on uniform parking systems to make sure that we get our allotment for the investment that we've made. Can you kind of update us if there is one on what that looks like, so that we can ensure that that is in fact public parking and not overflow resident parking, for example?
Yeah, we have been working through that. Our economic development manager, Sharon Woodbury, has been the lead on that. We've been working through that with them on The gates for closure, we have secured or have gotten reassurance from them that they are going to be monitoring the tenants of their structure with a fob, and each unit is going to get, I think they've allocated like 1.5 fobs per unit. This way they won't be overflowing into the public parking, and then when the units are vacated, then they will discontinue that fob and that person would turn into a paying customer. So we have went through that exercise with them and have assurances on that.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. That was all for me, Chair.
Thank you. Any others? All right. Well, seeing no additional lights, thank you for the update. It's very detailed, and we appreciate that. We'll move on. Item number 12, any comments from any of our commissioners? Mr. Executive Director.
No comments. No issue.
All right. Seeing none, item number 13, time and place of future meetings. Our next regularly scheduled meeting of the CRA will be on Wednesday, July 17th, 2024 at 9 o'clock in council chambers. May I get a motion to adjourn? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Adjourned.